documents in the case against Casey show the FBI Crime Lab has been working hard to fill in missing pieces of the state's case.
And there are 400 pages of newly released evidence just today, and we have team coverage. WESH 2's Amanda Ober has more on toys that were found at the site of Kaylee's remains and what Cindy Anthony is saying about them. But we begin with WESH 2's Bob Keeling. And Bob, is there anything to show the state has some strong new forensic evidence?
No, not quite the opposite, Jim. These new documents reveal a variety of recent FBI lab tests ordered by investigators to help them answer critical questions like, how did Kaylee die? Since February, FBI lab results have come back on a variety of critical pieces of evidence. A hair mass from Caylee Anthony's skull, a mystery bullet casing, more than a dozen pairs of shoes and boots taken from the Anthony home, a kitchen knife found near Kaylee's remains, and soil taken from Casey's car trunk. These results have to be seen as a disappointment to prosecutors. Tests on the hair came back negative for a variety of chemicals which might point to how Kaylee died. Although the report also states that just because the tests were negative, that does not mean there was no exposure to chemicals. Tests on soil taken from the boots and footwear were inconclusive in some cases, and in others did not match soil at the crime scene. The same inconsistency exists between soil from Casey's trunk and the crime scene. FBI lab technicians did find traces of adhesive on that kitchen knife, but they found it was not consistent with adhesive on the duct tape found on Kaylee's skull. The bullet casing came from a .30 caliber rifle and appears to have been tested in case there's suspicion later that a gun may have been used in this case. The net result of these recent tests appears to shed no further light on how Kaylee died and no further forensic ties between material taken from the Anthony home and items found at the crime scene. Yeah, the bottom line in the variety of FBI lab results released in today's packet of evidence, we didn't find some sort of smoking gun that better explains how Kaylee died or, as we said, provides any sort of better forensic link between the crime scene and from Casey Anthony. Also no clue in here, Jim, as to why the state might have decided just last month to seek the death penalty. Let's go back to you.
All right, Bob, thanks a lot. In those documents that were released today, there are more details about tips that could have led investigators to Caylee Anthony's remains months before they were found. WESH 2's Amanda Ober has been looking into this. And Amanda, what does the evidence show?
Well, according to the newest documents, it wasn't just a meter reader, but also a volunteer searcher who tipped off deputies all the way back in August to suspicious finds in the woods near where Kaylee's body was eventually found. The volunteer searcher says he even took some of the evidence straight to Cindy Anthony.
This is a MySpace photo of 30-year-old Keith Williams of Orlando. He grew up in Casey Anthony's neighborhood and last August returned to the area to help search for Kaylee. In the latest documents, Williams tells investigators on August 18th, while searching in the woods on his own, he found a bag filled with stuffed animals, not far from the area where Kaylee's body would eventually be found. Williams immediately took that bag to Cindy Anthony, who told him she didn't recognize it or the toys inside. But a tip Williams had gotten from a psychic indicating Kaylee may be buried in that area nagged at him. So he called the sheriff's office and met Deputy Richard Kane back at the scene. According to Williams, Kane grabbed the bag of toys, looked at it, said it was too deteriorated to be anything significant, and then tossed it back into the woods. This happened just 5 days after Deputy Kane is accused of failing to respond properly to a call from meter reader Roy Kronk. It may be more evidence that Kaylee's body could have been discovered months earlier than it was.
Now, coming up on WESH 2 News at 5, I'll have more on the role the sheriff's Deputy Kane, may have played in delaying the discovery of Kaylee's remains. Amanda Ober reporting, WESH 2 News.